Kenyans. It's another good Sunday that the Lord, our good Lord, has made this day. Today, I want us to discuss about the narrative that this government is going to be sticking on this week. It is going to have around two, three things before we hear what they are giving us from their budget proposal. Uh, the first thing they will be sticking on is they will be talking a lot about a removal of 15% from the content creators. And I ask myself, how many do we have and how much do they generate? It's only a few that have established themselves in the industry that are making a lot of money. But the rest of the starters, they don't have anything, in fact, substantial to talk about. The second thing this government is going to talk about, especially most of the guys who are up front there, who are defending the government, is that they are going to talk about introducing electric motorbikes into the country so that they try to convince guys that we call border guys that there is something substantial that they are going to gain from this government. But in essence, if you ask yourself, what is the cost of electricity? Now, from those guys who buy tokens, if you buy tokens of 50 shillings, uh, you just get only one token and a few points on top of it, meaning that a unit is around 35 shillings. So, how much are you going to spend on charging the electric motorcycle, and how long does it run so that you recharge again? Now, another thing that has been always talked about by these guys is that the opposition should give a counter proposal on what they want happening in government. And Kenyans should ask themselves, who is in power? And why should you want counter proposals from your nemesis, and yet you claim to have had a plan which you were to implement? But in essence, if this was the plan, then we were duped. Now, if you are one guy who uses public transport occasionally or always, nowadays so many few people want to talk about having supported UDA or Kenya Kwanza government because of the kind of punitive taxation and lack of money in the pocket. Most of the guys are saying that they did not support this government, but in essence, there was a significant support from where I come from. And nowadays, those guys have vanished. Now, as a leader, what you need to be doing is you need to bring reprieve or making the burden of cost of living light to your citizens. But what this government, especially the number two is talking about taxation and development. This thing of taxation has been there since independence, since the colonial period, and we have been having development with the kind of taxes that have been levied on us. So, what is the big deal of taxing everything? It's only that we cannot be able to tax air because it is given by God. There are so many things that are untold about this bill, and when it is going to be implemented, or when it is going to be read and passed by parliament, that is when then the average Kenyan is going to feel it, um, how much it's going to cost them. Um, the first thing is transacting on M-Pesa. They don't tell us that there's a 15% levy for sending and withdrawal of money, meaning that every time you send or every time you receive money and you are withdrawing, there is a 15% um, tax on the money that you are receiving. Another thing is uh, excise duty on fertilizer, and yet they are saying that they want to reduce the cost of fertilizer so that we can do production of cereals and pulses so that we can have food security. But that is not the thing. There's a lot of tax that is going to come with the excise duty that is there, and then we coupled with 16% of taxing petroleum products, and these are the products that are used in transportation of goods from one place to another. It's going to be hectic to the Kenyan. And then there is a tax of 15% on every seat of a PSV vehicle. This is going to make the fare to skyrocket. And then you see it's going to be tough because for people who commute every morning, it means that you need to buy so many pairs of shoes so that you can be walking, because using flying on public transport is going to be very expensive. And then there is this thing of 15% on turnover turnover tax on sales exceeding 500,000. It means that guys who have been making 1 million, 2 million shillings, 500,000 per turnover, they are going to pay dearly. And then that is not trying to improve the economic standards of people. And then there is this thing that we call the housing levy that has been a decoy to distract us from interrogating what is in the bill, so that we look at the 3% and leave the other bad things that are within the bill to pass. But God is great that and the Kenyans are very sharp. We are not going to stop talking about these things, because we have to interrogate and see how much are we going to give out to this government that is not even providing the kind of services that are required. And then there is this 2.7% of NHIF. It's also another narrative that I had another lady in Marsabit talking about a reduction of the contribution from 500 to 300. But you see, that is a drop in the ocean, considering the amount of money that they are going to get from other people. Now, it begs a question like this. Now, when you tax all this money and you don't provide any service, what do you mean? Kenyans have got to be very clear, especially on how their taxes are used and how they are supposed to get the services from government. Thank you. Let us continue having a discussion on what is happening, and it's healthy that we discuss about these things. Thank you.